Hi, I'm Ron Banky with the Saltwater Angler. Today we are out at Clem's Marina, and I'm very pleased to have Upper Laguna Madre writer Steve Schultz with us today. And we're going to be talking about the use of croaker and piggies. And I'm going to turn it over to Steve and to explain to you why we're using croakers and piggies in the month of August. Steve?
Good, Ron. Nice to be here with you. You know, August is probably one of the hottest months of the year, and certainly not much wind. So those fish are very lethargic, and you have to entice them to eat. So the best way to get those fish to eat is throw live bait out in front of them and just you know, hope that things go well. And what we're going to do here today is we're going to show you a couple of techniques on how to rig for different scenarios, either fishing in a current or over the rocks, or fishing over grass and potholes in the Laguna Madre. I'm going to let Ron show you the first way to do it, and we're going to do a slide weight on a rig with a croaker, and this is something that we would use down in the land cut with a current, with some kind of current, and or over the rocks and bathrooms to keep your bait down.
I want to show you how we rig a slide weight, and this, like Steve said, this is one of the ways that I've always enjoyed fishing the most, especially in the land cut or on the side of the intercoastal with the current. And what I do is I have a leader and tied on to generally a 5 or 6 aught wide gap hook, and just above the swivel I run an egg sinker down through the leader, or above the leader, and that way when it hits the bottom, your croaker can swim up a bit off of the bottom and not get into the grass so badly, and no matter what the depth is, that weight will go to the bottom, and your bait will swim up a bit and stay off at the bottom. This is one of the ways that I enjoy fishing the most when I'm fishing croaker. And Steve's going to talk about how to rig your baits when you're fishing over rocks or grass beds or potholes. Steve, show them how you hook up that.
All right. Well, what we have here is what I like using, and this works great in all scenarios, especially even if you have a low current. I use a chatterweight, and you can find these online or at any marina. And what it is, it's just a inline weight, small weight that has BBs in it that rattles. And what I do is I tie a 20 or 30 pound fluorocarbon to it, and then I go straight to a wide gap hook, either 5 or 6 aught like Ron uses there. And what I like to do is I like to tie a loop knot, and it gives that bait a lot freer action to move when he's hooked on the bait. And what I do is I just tie a loop knot, get that loop down, and then cinch it up where that bait can move freely around that hook, and no matter where he goes, he's got a lot more freer movement. And what you do with this is when you throw this out, this has enough weight to sink it down to the bottom and still not get it hung up in the grass. And then when you pull it up, these weights start chattering, and they're like a fish call, a dinner bell, and it brings that bait up, and they come investigate, and then they see the bait and they take the bait. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to hook a piggy perch, and we have one right here. We got them compliments of Clem's Marina, who's got the best bait around. And get this piggy perch, and we hook him right above the anal fin, just above the lateral line. and we go right through just like that, just off the tail, and he gets hooked just like that. That way when you throw him out there, he's free to swim just about anywhere he wants, just like that. And when a fish takes him, they're going to take him from the head anyway and take him from naturally through the head and eat him that way. And that's how you get a rig for summertime action in Laguna Madre with a chatterweight, a fluorocarbon leader, and a Kahle hook for piggy perch. I'm going to let Ron show you how to do a croaker now. Ron?
I'll show you how to do the croaker.
Let me catch this little guy.
First thing you got to do is catch the croaker.
Yeah. And they're a little hard. They're pretty good size this time of year.
Yeah,
so you want to use...
That's why we use a 6/0 hook most of the time. Again, as Steve was showing you, what you do is you hook them just above the anal fin. Whoa, he didn't like that.
You wouldn't like it either if I was going to put a hook in you.
I've had it in me before. But anyway, you hook it just below the lateral line, just above the anal fin, and that's what you have. And when you throw it out there and your egg weight hits the bottom, your croaker is able to swim up off of the bottom just like this, and it'll swim up just like this by hooking it through the bottom of the anal fin there. So that's what we do, and that's what how we make it work. So if you haven't tried using croaker or piggies before, that's the best way to hook.
One thing that we're going to add is on Ron's technique. When a fish takes this, with this bait, and this slide weight is on here, he can pull out as much line as he wants and go in any direction without really feeling that weight, because that weight's just sitting there, and that line is sliding through that weight.
And
so
give it a count.
He has very little feeling that there's something going on wrong here. So
yeah, most of the time, and you can count. I always have had my clients count to 5 or 10 or whatever to give it a chance to swallow the whole bait, because this time in August the baits are getting a little bit large, and they need to have a little more time to swallow the bait to get to the hook. So that's why I count, depending on the size of the croaker. Stevie, I guess we told them about all we know.
Now all we got to do is show them how to catch them.
That's right. Well, we're so happy that Julie was able to go out on the pier and cast the croaker a couple of times. It's not that hard to do, especially if you know how to do it. But practice, and you'll learn how to cast those croakers. The best thing to do is get them a little arch up in the air so you don't throw the croaker off the hook. I'd like to thank Steve Schultz, Captain Steve Schultz, for being with us today. It's always fun to have someone that writes for the saltwater angler to be a part of these videos. Steve, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ron. Thanks for having me.